Okay, good evening. I'd like to call to order the April 11th, 2023 meeting of the Barnstable Golf Committee. We'll take the roll call. Jason Orby.
Here.
Mark Bushway. Absent. Suzanne Connolly.
Here.
Jeff Converse.
Here.
John Cookson.
Present.
Keith Hochstein, present. Bill Silva.
Present.
Okay. Jesse, any public comments?
Negative.
None, okay. In accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 30, Section 20, regarding public taping at meetings, I need to inquire if anyone is taping the meeting. Seeing none, we'll move on. And also, I would like to inform the public that this meeting is being recorded and will air on Channel 18 sometime after the meeting concludes. We need to act on the minutes of the March 14th, 2023 meeting. Do we have any additions, deletions, or suggestions for the minutes? Okay, seeing none, can I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Okay, I think we can do this. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye? Okay,
I'll abstain.
okay.
For that.
Director of Golf Maintenance Report.
Okay, cart path project at Hyannis, it's done. Well, the paving's done.
Yeah. The damage is still there.
comes the hard part.
Right. They got their act together. They finished in 9 days between what they had left for prep and paving.
Oh, good.
I think the paths themselves came out great. They added some berms and a few spots for water flow and some drainage, like on 2. I don't know if anyone's seen that over there. It actually came out pretty nice.
Does that get sealed? Does it get sealed, or is it just the asphalt that's there?
The asphalt, when they put it down,
Yeah.
they put down, I can't remember the right term, but it's binder and base, so it's 2 coats. And the second coat is a different, it has different specs to try to keep the water out. But I do know we're supposed to keep them clean for a while as far as dirt, to try to get them to stay watertight. I guess the dirt could potentially break down the fresh asphalt. So,
You're talking about like driveway seal?
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I don't think, they didn't put down an actual sealer, as far as I know. So
But
now,
congratulations, you must be
Oh,
very
yeah.
happy.
yeah, I'm happy that's done. But now Hyannis, well, I'm gonna need both crews, are gonna have to try to knock out a lot of loaming and seeding, as you know. Not just on the damaged areas, but all the sides, because not only is it a tripping hazard, but just to finish the project and dress it up. Hoping to get the majority of that done at the end of April, because we kind of have to shift gears. We're aerating the greens at Old Barney starting Tuesday, and Hyannis the following week on that Monday, the 24th. So I have to kind of pull equipment and crews around, so
Yeah.
it has to take a back seat for a little bit.
Does that mean that play is open on Monday at Old Barnstable?
It is, yeah, it's a holiday, so
Yeah.
Patriots Day, I think, play will be open Monday. One thing we are gonna do, the putting green, we're probably gonna knock that out Friday here, just to test our equipment, make sure our settings are good, so that will be punched early, but just the putting green and maybe the chipping green. Just so we make sure everything is calibrated and we don't have to worry about it on the Tuesday. 2 projects we did get done. We successfully installed, transplanted the holly tree at Old Barnstable. It came out really well. And the bunker at 11 was sodded and reshaped. It's not quite complete. We need to pull the luan board, and it'll look more like a bunker once we add a little more sand to
I'm
it.
sorry, which bunker?
The 11th greenside bunker at
Oh, the
Hyannis.
green side, all right.
Yep. Lots of stuff to do for both staffs now. The season's here. Bear with us. Both courses are significantly understaffed seasonally. So it's gonna take us a little longer to get to everything we wanna do.
Are you hiring people or?
We are, we've had no one apply since mid-March. When we had a few people leave, not returning from last year. We have a small core group that's returning, but both courses could use more seasonal staff. And then the only other thing is I've been working a little bit on the Audubon stuff. I'm gonna be filling out a site assessment and environmental plan to kind of send off to them. That tells us about, our golf courses and the kind of things we want to pursue environmentally. But I also, I'll be sending out some sort of a memo, maybe Jesse can either blast it out to the members for me or something, but they want an advisory group where maybe some members get involved or even members of the public. So I'll have more info on that.
Good.
Maybe I'll bring it to the next golf committee meeting.
I'd love to do that.
But I've even been kind of pulled away a little bit
Absolutely.
from some of this stuff because I've been helping out on
Oh, yeah,
on the
understood.
courses, so.
If you need any help on it, I'm available.
Okay, sure. Any questions on the Audubon stuff or?
You have the osprey nest up, right?
We did get
You
that
have
up.
the stand.
Yep.
Right.
Do you have to put, we talked about this before, I think, some kind of cedar or?
We did, there's,
Oh,
if
it's
you
in
look
there
close,
now.
if you look underneath it, we've got 4 or 5 cedar branches.
Okay.
To try to attract,
Okay, so now you're just waiting for them to come.
yeah, whether
Cool.
that's a year or two, but we'll see. We did see an egret over there, a white egret, today
wow.
on 3 fishing.
Oh, wow,
It's
you're
kinda cool.
kidding.
Oh, that's nice.
That's great. Are there any bluebird houses around the course?
Oh, yeah, all
A bunch
those,
of them, right?
yeah,
They're all
yep.
bluebirds,
Yeah.
yeah. We saw so many bluebirds last year one day, it was crazy. It was beautiful.
And we put some up at Hyannis too on the 8th.
Oh, good, good.
And the other thing is butterfly habitat, is that right?
I signed us up for a program, it's called Monarchs in the Rough. They're gonna be sending me enough wildflower seeds to do an acre
Oh, wow.
to try to get more monarch butterfly habitat at both courses,
Lovely.
Nice.
which was free. So.
Can't beat that.
Any other questions?
I have one.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go
No,
ahead.
mine is gonna take a while, you go
Yeah.
first.
Okay. We were playing the 10th hole over at Old Barnstable today. And we looked at one pine, and the comment was, did anybody see the pines on the 17th hole at the Masters?
Oh, topple over?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and it looked like,
I know which pine tree you're talking about on the
Yeah.
right side that's
Yeah.
growing like this.
yeah,
It's been like that for 15 years at least.
really?
The
Yeah.
ones at Augusta were transplanted, they didn't have tap roots is what I heard, which makes a huge difference about, in respect,
So that's not dangerous to the,
I don't think so, but I'll take another look at the root base to make sure it's not uprooted.
but that grew there naturally.
It did.
That makes a huge difference.
And some of the nor'easters we've had, it's incredible that thing hasn't uprooted.
So much of Augusta is artificial.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, they spray paint the
Oh, yeah,
fairways.
it's-
Well, they
Yeah.
actually painted rocks to put them over the hole that was made in the ground. They filled it with loam and then had those pebbles put down, they sprayed them green, so it's like,
They have a lot of spray paint at Augusta.
yeah. Everything's green and there's no advertising. If you want a Coke, you'll be drinking it in a green cup. I had a question about, you were just talking about not having enough staff.
Yes.
And I know you're a member of the Golf Course Superintendents Association here on the Cape. Has anybody ever approached the Commonwealth of Massachusetts about putting in an agronomy program, possibly at Cape Cod Community College, with the idea that not only do we have golf courses that need to be maintained, but there's a gazillion landscapers down here that could use the expertise of that. Has anybody ever approached that at the golf course superintendents?
Not to my knowledge, no. It's a great idea because I know all the landscapers are hurting for help too.
Yeah, everybody is. It's, and.
I mean, you've got the tech programs, that's about it, from the high schools. I actually had those kids last year for a little field trip to the maintenance barn down here, and it seemed like they were interested, but none of them applied, so.
I was just curious, it might be a really good conduit for your course and everybody else here on the Cape, because the people that have been working on the courses, they're all getting older. And I mean, there are, it's usually guys my age that are still out there driving tractors, and they shouldn't be, because I'm old. But it's like, you know, that, it was just a thought. And I don't know who your president is this year, but maybe you could approach him or something and come up with it, and they'll think you're a genius. I don't
know about that. No, it's definitely, it's a huge problem. I don't know what kind of interest they'd have in that program. I think part of it could be too, a lot of young people can't afford to live here.
Right.
Anymore. Which, not on what we pay anyway.
Yeah, and it's also gone are the houses where there are 8 kids living in a house.
Right.
Yeah.
UMass is one of the best turf schools in the country.
Absolutely.
But same thing, they can't come here. The wages aren't there.
Right.
You know.
The wages aren't there, and also the living accommodations.
A lot of those kids from UMass end up going to private clubs because they can provide housing.
Yeah.
So they get to live for free.
Oh, we don't have something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Are you done, Jeff?
Yep.
Okay. First of all, Mark Bushway has arrived, and I just want to make sure the public knows that. So we're at full attendance tonight. Is there a schedule to improve the bunkers on 18 at Old Barnstable?
Which one's
The ones on the left that are ground under repair?
I think the plan is to fill those in.
Right. Is there a schedule for that?
We'll get to it.
Okay.
We'll get to it.
The area between the second green and the 8th tee, I was over there the other day, and you had somebody cleaning up all the brush. Might that be an area that you're going to plant wildflower seeds?
It could be, yep, yep,
Because I think that'd be a great spot for it.
sure, yep. Yeah, that, probably a lot on the 9th hole, the 8th
I was
hole.
thinking 9 in front of the tee,
In
right?
front of the tee boxes on 9,
Okay,
where they'd be visible.
okay,
Those guys were in there mostly to keep all that overgrowth was kind of choking out where one of our wells is for the pond,
okay.
to keep all the vines and brush from growing all around it.
And the last question I have, around the pond at 3,
Yes,
what is the plan for that undergrowth, that brush that is being cut out, like?
it'll grow back. It grows back.
Do we want it to grow back?
Yes,
We do.
yeah. I mean, removal's not an option because the pond liner is all intertwined with the root
Okay.
balls and those things, so to pick them out with the backhoe would destroy the pond liner.
Okay.
So
All right.
it's just gonna be one of those things every couple of years, we're just gonna prune them back before it gets out of control.
How are those trees that you planted for directional tee shots working out?
To be honest, I haven't played much, so I don't know how it's affecting people's
Any
swings on the
complaints?
tee.
No, they look a little out of place.
They look
They look
ridiculous,
funny, but I'm
Yeah.
wondering, they probably do the job.
I think
that
they do. I
Right.
think it's a very conceptual thing. There's no, you can't prove it, but I think it,
Right.
you know,
It doesn't make a
We,
difference from the blues.
well, we,
No, but my point is, it's
Yeah.
only to take the whites and aim them left.
correct.
If
It's
you're
to
hitting from the
taste.
blues, you have to go by those trees anyway.
Right. It's, we haven't had any
Assessed it,
complaints
yeah.
from any of our neighbors.
Well, that's good,
So,
because
yes,
that means it's
that was-
probably
That was
working.
the whole point.
I mean, it's not just the neighbors either, it's the traffic.
We grew in the front tee, the
Yeah.
tee's gone.
Yep,
We moved the tee to the right, we angled it left, we put those there, the fairway's now actually one cut further left than it was.
yep.
2 or 3 cuts.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that have happened there that you may not, a
That's-
year from now, you won't even know it.
Angling the
Just
tee
the-
box, I think might have been more important.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the only tee box on the course that's squared off.
I'll have to take a look.
Everyone else's
I
has
play
rounded.
from the forwards.
Right, so
Just
that's,
the
yeah,
tips.
that's that one is
I'm trying
actually
to tip
squared
this year
off,
when you come up. I actually want to play the third
which
from
isn't
the
done.
eighth.
I mean, we a circular tee is much easier to cut.
It's just faster.
It's way faster.
Got it.
You're not
Got
hitting
it.
you know what I mean?
It was kind of a genius solution too. I thought for a long time it was kind of dangerous. You know,
What's that?
without those trees there, it's not just the neighbors, it's the traffic.
Sure.
You're going,
And
you
we've
know,
had that.
yeah, cracked
uh,
windshields and people startled off the road.
Back in about in November, we had I had a woman contact me. Her car got hit on 132 from the driving range in Hyannis.
Huh,
It happens.
wow,
You
yeah.
know, yeah.
That's
When
a
you-
slice baby.
Yeah.
When you hit from the goals, there's no problem.
It's easy to put the ball over by the bank on 8.
Where? On.
Hyannis.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah,
Because you're hitting
yeah.
a big shot there. You're trying to, and you
It's a long
shut it
iron,
down
it's
a
easy
little.
to cook.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just have one more item, and our colleague Bill Silver brought this up at the last meeting regarding the distances from the whites. I didn't know if this was your report, James, or Jesse's. Apparently what happened is those MGA markers that have the distance that adds up to, for instance, 6,113 yards from the whites were put in when the course opened, and for instance, two holes in particular, the ninth hole, originally the whites were way back by the blues. And then the 11th hole, and again, I'm saying this for the benefit of the public as well. In the 11th hole, the white tees were back by the blues. And apparently what happened is so many people hit into the junk on 9 and 11
Yep.
that somebody said, this is crazy, pace of play is being impacted tremendously. We have to move them up. So they moved the markers up, but of course the markers still have the same yardage as where they were originally. And there are several, I don't want to bore us, believe me, I did this one day for every hole on the course, every hole that is directly straight. None of the ones that have dog legs or anything like that, every hole that is directly straight. And the course right now is about 400 yards less from the whites than the card indicates. Now, we're lucky to have Vinnie, as everybody knows, Vinnie Marcantonio works for the MGA, and the course is going to be re-rated next year. So he'll take all this into consideration, and we're probably going to have to, I would think we would want to, discuss the implications of this in terms of having a course that's probably going to be about 5,800 yards from the whites. Because the way I understand it, people that come, non-pass holders come and play, and they want a 6,000 yard course to play on. So these are all things that, again, because of Bill's inquiry about that, we're going to have to work with Vinnie on this again next year. That's when we're scheduled to have Old Barnstable re-rated. So just to get an update on that. And again, I think the people in the audience who listen to us might be interested in that as well.
It's not only from the marketing standpoint of having a course that's not, people see under 6,000, a lot of people think it might be.
Executive,
Yeah.
almost executive.
Right. But not only that, but if it gets too low artificially on the card, now the rating and slope are so low that people's handicaps are going to be artificially
Yeah,
low.
yeah.
Right.
And anytime you travel, you're going to get killed. You know, you're going to go from a 14 handicap down to an 11, even though nothing's changed.
Right.
And that's no
That's a
good for
problem.
anybody. Yeah.
What holes did you not include in your analysis?
The one, any hole that is a dog leg, because I have my, distance instrument,
Right,
and that can't read the fact, like one even, the fact that it's a dog leg left.
yeah,
If the distance instrument is going to go right through the trees, right to the pin.
right, correct.
So that's inaccurate, because you have to assume that we're driving down the middle of the fairway and then going left, and so it's longer. But any hole that was completely straight, I checked the MGA marker, and then I checked my distance
Yeah.
machine, and we have like 400 yards less.
Yeah,
And 9 and 11 are about 100 yards just between the two of
between the
them.
two. I can
So
actually
again,
take the other
we-
holes on
we
my
need
watch,
to-
it'll say, you know,
Right.
what the distance to the dog is.
Oh, okay.
So I could look at that.
That's
But
not
I-
uncommon, and a lot, most courses are overrepresented.
But I think as
Are they?
we get this course re-rated, we want to think about all of this.
We do, I'll talk to Vinny,
Sure.
don't be surprised if once the new, we get new yardages and it comes out to 6002, it might not be a coincidence,
So
but-
move
Well,
on.
as
So move
as,
9 back to the.
Yeah, would you
blues.
consider
No.
moving any of the whites
Yeah.
back?
no,
No?
no, 9 is tough enough.
Yeah, no.
No, but for the official
Um,
rating, it should be back on the other tee box.
It can be.
At the
Um,
front of at the blue tee box.
On 9?
Yeah.
or
That's a
maybe
long
there's another
hole.
other holes that you could
Right,
adjust.
I mean, we can nuance it.
Right.
a lot
Well,
of
again,
different ways.
I think it's just a question of being aware of it.
Good point.
And we'll work with Vinny and work with what we have. I don't know if you can read my scribbling there, Jesse, but these are the holes that are
Well,
straight.
Vinny will be a huge part of this,
Yeah.
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
What would you want it to
absolutely.
be? What would you like the?
6,000 yards
Right.
is what we want it to
And
be.
symmetrical gaps, so you don't want a 200-yard gap between the blues and whites, and then a 600-yard gap down to the golds. You want symmetrical gaps.
Yeah.
So, 6,400, 6,000, 5,600, 5,200, you know what I mean?
Yep, yep.
That's important. Yeah.
Jesse, what did you say about the handicap and going into different places?
Well, if this same golf course gets rated 400 yards lower,
Yeah.
the rating and slope drop, in reality, nothing has changed.
Right.
You're playing the same golf course from the same tees,
Yeah.
but you just lost 2 or 3 strokes in your handicap.
In-
So now you go play in a member guest that you play in every year with your buddy, you got problems.
No, I think it's the opposite.
No, because this course becomes considered
Right.
easier.
Right.
Yeah,
So
Your
then you go
handicap
play-
would drop.
Yeah.
and if it's easier,
But it's not easier. It's only easier on paper. You're playing the same golf course. See my point?
well, now it's rated harder
Right.
than it is.
Right.
Right.
So your handicap is higher.
No, it's
No.
lower.
Lower.
No, it's higher.
No, it's lower.
No, because if you're a 17 on an easy course,
You're at 24.
but right now,
Wait a minute.
right now you're considered a 17 on the way it's rated, right?
John.
So then if the
He is.
difficulty
John's
drops,
He's right.
No, you know what? You're 100% right.
He's 100% correct.
Yeah.
You're 100% right.
Yeah, if you're the guy they
You're
want
shooting the same
at that,
score on an easier
member
course on
guest,
paper,
yeah.
so you're 100% right.
Right.
Oh, so let's get it to 52.
John's always right.
You're right, you're 100% right. I was thinking of it, but yeah. It still would be kind of an artificial handicap in that sense. But I just want it to be accurate. But at the
I
same
think that-
time, not be
yeah,
Mickey Mouse on
That's
paper.
what we want to do.
But
So
you're
we want
right.
it to be accurate. It
That's a
doesn't have
good
to be
point.
exact. And again, we want to make sure that we have a course that is appealing to the public. People don't think it's too short.
Yeah. To the non-members who want to
Right.
take a day
Right.
of golf. Yeah.
Because
Okay.
6,400 to 5,800, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's a little too big
Yeah.
of a drop.
Yeah.
A 600-yard gap is a lot.
Yeah.
We
You know,
talked at
that's-
one point about those
you know.
blended tees having,
Yep.
I think last year we talked about that.
We can do, and that's easy to do. All that is Vinny could do that. Just with,
Move the markers.
or not even.
No,
No,
not
You
even.
just have
He doesn't.
you have little arrows, white,
Right.
and red, and
You're
you
gonna
go
play from the blues, you're gonna
right.
play from the whites.
So you get to a hole like 7,
Oh,
obviously
oh.
you're playing the whites.
Yeah.
You get to 11, you're playing the blues.
Right.
Got
So
it.
right, the shorter holes you play back, the longer holes you play up. So if it is 6,400 and 5,800, you can manufacture a 6,100-yard course.
And you can
By
also
playing heavy
advertise the course as having
7 sets of tees
Right,
or whatever,
7
right?
sets of tees.
And it's in gin, you can post, even though technically you're bopping back and forth between blues and whites, or it's a legit round of golf in
Yeah,
terms
yeah.
of gin, you can still post it.
You gotta
Yeah, we did it in
reprint all your
Hyannis between the
cards.
whites and golds.
Oh, yeah,
And the
that's right.
handicap comes up on Hyannis.
Right.
If you plug it in.
The only
As the
downside
hybrid.
of that is you end up playing a lot of holes that are the same exact yardage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're playing the short holes longer and the long holes shorter, you play a lot of holes that are the same yardage. But
You have to
People
reprint
won't
all
even
your
notice that.
cards?
At the name of the game.
I have
We'd have
had
to order
it-
new cards for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do every year anyway. We get about, we order 20,000 scorecards
I was
a
going
year.
to ask about that. You order the cards every year?
About 2/3 of your rounds is what you go through typically.
Okay.
So at Hyannis, doing a little over 30,000 rounds, 20,000 scorecards is usually enough.
Yeah.
Here, doing closer to 40,000, they might have to order every year and like 3 times every 2 years.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But typically we order once a year. It costs, it's probably $2,500 for a run of scorecards.
Okay.
Um,
Nice
But
work,
they come quick.
Keith. Nice work.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
A couple of my friends have asked me, and I'm glad Mark brought this up, about having a hybrid, an official hybrid course at Old Barnstable, because they love playing the hybrids
Between
at
whites
Hyannis.
and golds.
Right,
Sure.
right.
Sure.
If you could
In
do
whites and
that.
blues.
Well, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Sure. That's incredibly easy to do because on the maintenance end, it's zero.
Right.
It's literally just
Right,
having the
James likes
MGA
that.
do it, and I would sit down with Mary and figure it out. I mean, we
Figure
could
out
all,
which
It's
holes-
almost common sense, like you
Right.
said. You know,
Yeah.
the long holes move up, the
Yeah.
short holes you move back, and you find a yardage that's so it's 61.13 and based on what it is now, 54. So you try to get it to 57 and change to get it. Again, we're looking for symmetrical yardage gaps. So that we could do that
Yeah.
easily.
because I mean, the second hole at Hyannis and the fourth hole at Hyannis, the hybrids are very much appreciated by a whole lot of people.
Good.
On those two, and
We
I
can do
know
that.
there are other holes, if you play the hybrids,
So there's literally 4 sets of tees, but to Mark's point, we could already advertise having 6.
Yeah.
If we did that. And it would just be a little arrow on the card, up or down, between blue and white. And then white and gold, I don't know how we'd figure it out.
yeah, well, you've done it at Hyannis, so.
Right.
Okay, questions of James? No more? Okay, then we'll move on to the Director of Golf report.
All right, not much. Nice to be having a meeting when it's light out
Yeah.
still. Clubhouse update. I wish there was much of an update. I had a meeting earlier today with Chris Canella and the town architect, Mark Marnaccio, where we talked about potential, we're using this, as Chris spoke about last month, we're using this as an opportunity to kind of revamp the space. Look at the mechanical systems, look at some ADA compliance, things that, some egress issues down on the bottom floor, some things that should have been taken care of a long time ago, and now's the time. He, being Mark Mariaccio, has a meeting this Friday with our insurance adjuster. That'll get us one big step closer to having some actual solid plans. Right now, it's just plans for demo, which we're hoping we can still have done under the emergency guys instead of, so we don't have to go out to bid for them. I think we can, but that'll be, that meeting on Friday is a big one. Hopefully, we have a lot more information then. Only other thing on that front, the Gimmies is they are saying that it's very possible they could have a food truck out there as quickly as this weekend. I'll believe it when I see it. That's all I can say on that. The trailer's been actually working pretty well. I don't know if any of you have been in it, but it's actually pretty nice. They did
I
a good
like
job.
it. I think they did a
They
fantastic
did a good job setting it up. They've already sold like $3 grand worth of merchandise out of it.
Oh, wow.
And only, yeah.
It's got, Tom's got a nice office there in the
Yeah,
back.
it works well. I mean, considering he's going to be in there,
Yeah,
you know, till the winter.
very comfortable.
It's
space.
yeah, it's good.
At least. Winter of 26?
Staffing, operations assistant. So yeah.
Hyannis in the trailer. Seemed to me that you could use more signage to tell people to go to the trailer
Yes,
rather than
yeah.
like that.
Tom was talking about that. We're getting a sign for the actual trailer that says Pro Shop. It's tough because we can't really make modifications to it or put nails in it or anything like that. So we're getting a sign for the actual trailer that says Pro Shop. We are going to try to reconfigure. I mean, you're looking at just those A-frames you bought. That was like $2,000 worth of signage that we got just to try to direct people. You're right. Tom said that he's watched people walk down the hill or walk to the front door of the clubhouse. So we're gonna toy with some different configurations. We don't have a lot more. I think we have 4 of those A-frames, but we're gonna get a pro shop sign for the trailer, and maybe even blocked. I don't know what, but he's gonna mess with it. He knows that, and he said that to me. He said, "I don't think the signs are really working." Then again, once somebody's been there once,
Yeah.
they'll learn.
Jesse, all right, John?
Yeah.
Is that good? Okay.
Yeah.
Gimmies. I know you're gonna move on to other things here. At the last meeting, we were unsure, I believe, as to whether or not Don Cox was even going to continue the restaurant and the bar services there. Have we reached the point that he is going to continue serving food on a limited basis and alcoholic beverages as well?
For the immediate future, he has expressed interest and has gone as far to say as it could be as quick as within a week that yes, he will be providing some limited form
Right.
of food and beverage via a food truck. Will Gimmies ever exist as it was back in the bar and the ones that I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's a few, you can't predict that.
I don't.
But
Right.
what I'm concerned about is just having food and beverages for
Yeah.
for pass holders and non-pass holders.
So I reached out, what's today, Tuesday? I reached out on Friday to Chris Ganella, and I said, since I've gotten no legitimate input in terms of that stuff, I want to move forward with getting maybe a 4-foot tall merchandising cooler with a glass door for the trailer, for, sodas, Gatorades, waters, and then order a bunch. W. Mason has all this stuff. Chips, crackers, granola bars, prepackaged, whatever you can think
Okay.
of. And we would just suck it up out of our budget and have that stuff in the shop. And he said, hold on, give me a couple days. And then in our meeting today, he said, hold off, because Gimme says they're coming through with something as soon as this weekend.
Because he
Okay.
had a beverage cart that can fit.
He's a hot cart too.
Right.
He does,
But the
yeah.
beverage cart could be permanent in some spot, along
Sure.
with that food cart. And now we're serving beverages
Yeah.
and we're serving food, limited, albeit, but at least we're having something that people. Now, the other part of that is, and I wasn't clear about this because everything was so new, can any area in the present clubhouse be used? Can people sit on the deck, for instance, buy their food, buy their beverage, and then sit on the deck to enjoy those things? Because what else are you gonna do? You'd have to
Right.
stand in the parking lot.
The deck
Which
would
is-
be the only option. I asked that question, I didn't get a firm answer. I will ask it again with a little more aggressiveness.
Well,
But
would
inside
that,
the clubhouse, no, absolutely not.
no, not inside,
Right, okay.
not
But yeah,
inside.
the deck would be
But
it.
the deck,
Yep.
I mean, most people in the summer wanna eat out on that deck anyway.
Got the new
Assuming
awning
they
up.
have a new awning,
Yep.
you said they had a new awning, so that's a protection from the elements. But then you can buy your food, you can buy your beverage and enjoy the 19th hole on the deck. That would be legal in terms of asbestos and anything else.
You're outside.
You're
It's out,
outside.
Right. I'll get a firm answer on that. I said to my boss, I said, I think people are gonna do it anyway, no matter what we say, unless we block it off.
Block it off.
Well,
Right.
yeah.
The only access to the deck is the stairway down at the,
Either both
at-
sides.
on both sides, right?
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, you couldn't, that going through the building.
Yeah,
was
you don't want, well, we wouldn't want them to. We wouldn't let them,
No, God, no. Just,
so.
I mean, you have 2 practice putting greens.
Mhm.
You could do away with one temporarily, right? Put a tent there. Somebody could
On
put
the
a
green?
tent.
You have to
on-
replace the
Well,
green afterwards.
Yeah, well, maybe you can put something down. I'm
That
just
would
saying,
work, it's
you could put a
grass.
tent there and it would be a large.
Well, the
area.
other thing is, he put tables as you walk to the 10th tee.
yeah, they were on a
In-
20%
I-
slope.
I
Yeah,
know,
that was not-
they were
yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, Bill, that some area, if we can't use the deck, I think we need an area where people can sit down at a table and enjoy chatting and having some food
We
and
can come up with something, it
beverage.
just won't be much. It won't be room for 80 people. It'll be room for 12 or 16.
Is there a spot between the putting green, the 18th green, the first green, and the first tee and the 9th green? That little triangle?
It's not level at all. I mean, again, if I just.
The only level
somebody's
spot is next
Somebody's
to
gonna end
the,
up with their beer in their lap.
next to the driving range, what I was talking about last month.
The lesson tee?
Yeah.
Yeah, balls coming from 9, I don't know, yeah.
Yeah,
And it's,
I think the deck is the only
I think the deck we can
option
pursue.
that would work.
If the town is okay with that, of course, in terms of legality, I would love to see that deck open. That deck can fit 30 or 40 people,
oh, way more.
more than that.
Yeah. Yep.
So again, a food truck, a beverage cart,
Yeah,
which
probably
we,
60.
which he already has.
Yeah, outside of an event where everybody's at the same time, if it was just for people finishing their round, hanging
Right.
out for half an hour,
Right.
an hour, it could accommodate that. 100%. New awning, we have it, yes.
And the stairs, there's nothing wrong with the stairs
No.
or anything
No.
like that.
It's not accessible. You have to
That's
consider
true.
that.
That's true. It's not
What
80,
is-
it's not
It's not
88.
accessible. You have to consider that,
The stairway?
climbing
Yeah,
up.
And it's
handicap.
going up to
Oh,
the deck.
handicapped, oh, of
I
course
think
it is.
if what you could do though is have something at ground level.
Sure.
You just have to think about it and accommodate it, not necessarily stop the
Yeah,
idea.
okay.
Does that make sense?
No, it has to happen.
It does. It does.
has to happen.
We've been so focused on just getting the operation up and going.
Right,
Yeah.
but that has to
Food and
happen.
beverage has been
It's a good point, Suzanne.
on the back burner.
And I think in terms of business for the club, it would be, it's not just, happy time for us, it's, it's
And
attracting
right,
people.
Tom and I were talking, right now, it seems like a lot of golfers are in the honeymoon phase. They're just
Yeah.
happy to be out there.
Right,
I don't know how long that's gonna last.
right.
Once we get into May and it starts warming up a little, it's not just gonna be, I'm just happy to be here, they're gonna be expecting.
So my
Right,
question is this, all of
exactly.
your outside groups that are a
Yeah.
major part of your revenue stream, when they are calling you up and making their plans, what are you saying to them? Nothing?
We don't know.
Well, I
What
guess.
can we do?
Are you letting them know that?
Oh, sure.
Oh,
I sent, oh yeah, absolutely.
oh, all right,
They all
I
know.
just to be fair to them, but
Oh, I
also.
reached out to them.
Yeah, okay,
I
all
sent
right.
an email out to every single group of 12 or more
The
that we have
excursions.
booked. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was right.
Yeah.
Telling them what's going on, being candid, we don't have a lot of answers right now on the
Right.
F&B front. There's nothing wrong with the golf course. Golf course is in great condition.
So
as
it's not
far
a
as F&B.
surprise to your customers,
Correct.
really, is
And,
what
and
you're
we've
trying
had,
to
and
say.
a lot of them responded. Well, when do you think it'll be? And I've been honest with them. Well, we don't know.
Yeah,
We do not know.
Well, then we have to go back to Mr. Cox. And is there any thought about giving him a deadline? I mean, he has now had 2 months.
Mhm.
2 months to think about this and plan. If he isn't going to provide food and beverage, what is Plan B? Because we need food and beverage.
It would be event specific. Everybody says just get a food truck. Well, it's not realistic to have a food truck just sitting there every day. It would be event specific. So on the days we do have the big outings, that's when we would try to get them to come in. Outside of that, I don't know. It could be as simple as we don't have a legitimate food and beverage operation this year. That's a reality. I'm sorry, I'm not a magician. That is a reality. We're on day 66 and we still don't even have plans to demo. That's how slowly this thing is moving. Food and beverage has been so far down on the list of things we're trying to do,
yeah,
honestly. And I know for the golfer, it's a huge part of the experience, but we've been busy just trying to provide a golf course.
yeah.
I understand it's important, but everybody needs to be prepared for the reality of we may not have a legitimate food and beverage operation this year. I don't know what else to say.
I guess I just worry about the big hit to the revenue.
You do.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to say that
Yeah.
it's really important, and to tell you the truth, Jesse, when you say that you don't have a lot of say in this, I'm kinda thinking that that's a structural disconnect, because you should, you're responsible for the success, the economic
Sure.
success, the business success of that course, so you should have more of an input, that's my opinion.
I have all the input in the world when it comes to the operation,
Yeah,
but
but,
when it comes to a town building,
yeah,
town property,
yeah.
that's
So
where
the
the line
vendor, the
gets-
relationship between the vendor and the town property
Yeah.
is critical, and
Yeah.
it's never more critical than this year.
Chris Canella, sitting to my left at the last meeting, was asked that exact question about can we give Gimmy's a deadline? And he gave a pretty fairly emphatic no. Because we don't know when we're gonna be up and running. How can we give him a deadline when we don't know where we're gonna stand?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. We're up and
Yeah,
running.
we're up and running.
We're up and running. Hyannis is open.
What I mean is, how do I say this? The golf course is open, but what will we be able to provide to him in terms of things he needs? Are we running electricity out to a food truck? Do they need a water line? Do we even have these groups coming in? There's a lot of logistics
Yeah,
that, and if the building is shut down for demo,
Yeah, yeah.
like, there's just a lot of, we don't even have plans for demo yet, and it's day 66. I can't tell you how frustrated I am.
I
That's-
just saw the appropriations order for the $25,000, and that's, they actually let that go in the first read. Did you see that?
Yes,
Yeah, which was good.
right,
That accelerates it a little bit.
yeah. And that helps, but that's a dent, 25
Yeah,
grand.
but I think it might get the ball rolling with the
Uh,
insurance
Well-
people.
We'll see if they come through this weekend
Okay.
with a food truck. As far as seating and all that kind of things, they should be taking care of that, frankly. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Or they could just, with the awning there and everything, you could just set up some chairs and tables.
Yeah, we already have them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Just let people do what they want.
But it would be
Water,
very
you know.
easy for the town to say, no, we don't want anybody on that deck while the building's
That's
being
quite
demoed.
true,
And they
yeah.
probably would say that. They're very liability focused.
Yeah,
And then what? I wish I had better answers.
it's really too bad.
Yeah.
What a mess.
This is the world we're in right now.
Yeah. Well, we don't mean to put pressure on you, it's just that, I think it's good to talk these things out, and more people watch this meeting than
Sure.
one would expect.
Jesse, are most of those large groups coming in on weekends, or are they during the week too?
No, a
Summer.
lot of them are during the week. The shotguns. We don't like to book the large groups on weekends,
Yeah.
frankly. And when you say large, are you talking like full-fledged shotgun, shut the course down?
No, not, but I'm just
Oh,
saying,
groups
you
of
know,
40,
like,
60,
yeah.
Yeah, the
Um,
excursion.
30
It's all over
or
the
40
place.
people, yeah.
It's all over the place.
Because it almost seemed like if you could getting back to the tent idea on one of the putting greens, like,
Yeah.
if you had a tent, a catering company, and it was open weekends or open certain days, that
Right.
it was, I don't know.
You're 100% right, and I've thought of that, but Gimmy's has right of first refusal. If
Yeah,
they say
right.
they're gonna do something, we have a contract with them.
Yeah.
I can't reach out to any other company.
Right.
It's theirs to create, Yeah, they could sue us in a heartbeat if I reached out to XYZ company to come in. So,
Boy, okay.
yeah, I mean,
Jesse, I'm a typical corporation, I'm a business. When they have insurance, for loss of revenue if you have
yeah.
does the town's insurance cover the loss of revenue if you can prove that you've lost
Yes,
revenue?
yes, if I can prove it. As I said in the last meeting, my concern is that I wouldn't be able to prove it until the end of the 2024 season. Because my concern is that groups come this year, we don't really see the revenue hit this year, but they're displeased with the lack of XYZ amenities this year, so they go elsewhere next year. That's
Yeah.
what I can see happening,
No, but Gimmy's is doing the math right now.
to see if it's worth it. Of course, right. Hey, I mean,
Because his
that's,
business continuation insurance is way,
yeah. An event of this magnitude gives either party, at the least, gives either party a chance to rip it up right now and say, we're good. That hasn't happened yet. Either one of us could. be within our right to say, you know what, this contract's done. But that hasn't happened. So we have to proceed as if they are our one and only food and beverage vendor, and you know, the town takes contracts very seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. It's tough. Again, right now we're still in the honeymoon period with most golfers. They just happen to be out there, but we'll see how long it lasts. And these are all legitimate questions. I just don't.
I would make one recommendation before you call WP Mason. Call either Pepsi or Coke. Because they will give you a fridge if
Right.
you order products from them.
Food?
So if you're, huh? No,
Food. Yeah.
Gatorade, water,
Yeah.
the 4 foot, because that's the most expensive thing you're talking about. Those things can be like $2,000.
Right. And I was
They'll
I was
give you
looking-
one for the season,
Right.
as long as you stock it from them.
I was also thinking about a vending machine too. And if we went through them, then they would
Yeah,
take care
they'll
of
give you
it.
the machine.
So
My understanding is the vending machines are the contractors, the vendors.
oh, it is.
Well, it is here. Bill takes care of
Right.
Yeah, it is.
Tavern
at
on the Green
Cranberry
runs the
Valley,
vending
too.
machines.
Really? That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Well,
people
again,
that run the restaurant.
I
have
mean,
vending
I'll
machines.
look into it, but again, if Gimme says they're doing something, we can't.
You
No,
can't
I'm
do
saying
it,
if you're gonna
yeah.
end up doing
But
it,
sure.
call one of the providers, because then you won't
Right.
buy the machine. You can just start
Right.
back.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good idea.
Yeah.
Nice idea. Oh, boy. All right, go ahead.
Well, again, we're not in conflict with Gimmies. We want Gimmies to do
Something.
a job that is gonna enable them to make money and to provide services for our members and non-members. And I want that to be very clear. But by the same token, we need to have an answer at some point in time
Yes.
from them as to what their intention is. That's all I'm interested in.
And I keep saying that the I don't know, we'll see is only going to suffice for so long. But I keep being told to practice patience, so that's what I'm trying to do. Day 66, no plans
Okay.
for demo. Think about that, and extrapolate that to everything else that that should have been done week 2,
Yeah, it should have been done the next day.
right? And we're in week 11.
All I can think
Week-
about
week
is
10,
black mold. The whole barn will
Right.
have to come down.
Right.
All right.
Staffing, operations assistant. So as you all know, Mike Colopy
Yeah.
is gone. We have hired his replacement.
Oh,
His name is Ryan White. He's coming to us from Hawaii. He starts within a couple weeks. I think by the end of April he'll be on.
You couldn't find another Dave?
Dave's
So,
great.
It
well-
makes it so much easier.
Well, guess what?
Morning, Dave.
That leads me into this.
Yeah.
As exciting as it is that Ryan White's coming, David Kassane has given his notice.
Oh, no,
Yep.
really?
History.
Yeah. So he's going to work for Cape Cod National. He's going to do the 6 months up here, 6 months in Florida thing.
Oh,
He's young. He
geez.
wants to do it.
Yeah.
Don't blame him. So
Oh.
he'll be with us for about another 3 weeks.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, he's with us through I think Thursday, May 4th is his last day. Having just went through this hiring process for Mike Colopy, we had a pool
Oh, a
of
nice
candidates.
pool, yeah.
So we were hoping to be able to select one of them, but no.
You gotta-
Union rules say we
you
have
gotta
to start all over and
yeah.
post it and go back it right. So it's posted now. It's got to be posted for X amount of time. I think it might be the end of this week, and then we'll interview and do it all over again. We hope so that person will probably be on board early May, hopefully mid-May. And in light of all that, I say this to you in the hopes that you'll pass it along to your fellow golfers. But and he pointed out too with his staff, just bear with us. We're so short-staffed
Yeah,
right now.
everyone is on
both
that.
yeah, and so there's going to be a lot of staffers working 11, 12-hour days. There's going to be a lot of training going on, new people coming on. We just, on the maintenance side, we're trying to up the pay from $18 to $20 an hour just to try to get
Yeah.
some people. But it's tough. It's so tough. Especially on nothing against maintenance, but on the operations side, we're staffing for over 100 hours a week. These golf courses are staffed 15 hours a day on the operations side. So it's so many hours that need filling, and there's so little people out there. So just know when you walk in and see Mary or Tom, if it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, they're probably on the 12th hour of their day. So just be nice.
Stay away from me.
Leagues quota opening day set for May 1st. People seem excited about that. After going back and the reason we switched nines at Hyannis,
Yeah.
we assumed that it was going to be a nightmare trying to run the first tee. Right. So for logistical reasons, turns out it's not as bad as we thought. So after aeration, we're going to switch back to normal.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So quota will be on the front.
Oh.
I know.
What? You like it the other way?
There's some
Well,
logistical
we were looking
issues.
forward to seeing where were they gonna put the pins in
Yeah,
some of the holes.
there's some. We might do it a couple times of the year.
Yeah.
There's some logistical safety issues I was worried about. If we were start on 10, carts coming down the hill and then making that left around the building, that's why it's blocked off right now. That's a collision waiting to happen.
Right.
I
haven't been there yet.
Okay, but if all play was starting on 10, you're gonna have a lot of carts coming down that hill and making that left.
Right.
Which, when the golf course is in regular, there's really no reason for a cart to do that. If they're going to 10 from the parking lot, they're doing it up top.
Right.
So
That's
that,
what I
among other numerous reasons, after aeration, we're gonna go back to normal.
Okay.
Leagues here, men's and ladies leagues, start on May 2nd and 3rd respectively, Tuesday, Wednesday. Men can email Mary between Wednesday and Friday, the 25th and 28th, the last week of April, to get into the first week. Whereas for the ladies league, the email evites for the opening luncheon will go out on the 21st.
Right.
So is there gonna be
so-
a mailing on these
Yes,
leagues?
yes,
Yeah, so,
yep.
okay.
I'll send something out about the men's league. The ladies league, they'll actually get something individually through Golf Genius and get us that how she
Yeah, that's how we
yeah.
use it, yeah.
Not much more revenue through the end of March. Doing great. Up 385,000 versus forecast.
Wow.
April so far has been great. We're already well over the halfway mark. I think we're budgeted to do around that number, 385, and we've already done like 220, so we're well past the halfway mark at only 11 days into the month. Annual pass sales are pretty much dead flat with last year.
Yeah, what's going on?
We're like 1%. They're pretty much the exact same as last year. In terms of
Oh, I'm
both,
sorry, I thought they were down, I was wrong.
they're within.
They're
It's like
close to what it
1.5%.
was at the same time, in
Correct.
other words, got it, got
Correct.
it.
Yo,
got
you're
it.
looking at the total number for
Yeah,
the year.
yeah, I
forget
was,
that.
yeah.
No, I'm talking year to date, April 11th,
Alright, okay.
July 1 through April 11th.
Yeah,
As far as both passes sold and total revenue. Same goes for non-resident. Virtually identical number of passes sold, albeit slightly higher revenue given because of the increase.
So the same number, because that question,
Pretty much,
did
yeah.
you ask that question last meeting, Bill? Somewhat,
maybe.
Jason?
The non-residents, right?
Yeah.
Jason, you asked it, the non-residents are flat.
Number of passes sold flat, revenue up.
Revenue up, of
Yeah.
course.
Right.
Okay.
So it didn't achieve the goal.
I looked today, it was literally,
we called them
it was literally,
Shut out again.
I think 136 this year versus 138 last year.
Oh my goodness,
But
that
it was still 20 grand more, you know, even though, yeah.
well, hey,
It didn't achieve the goal, Bill, you're right.
Last thing I have, so you saw the town council,
yes.
Chris went, so the transfer of $65,000, 25 of it being our deductible and 40,000 for credit card processing fees that
Yes,
are
I
way
saw
out of
that.
whack. That are
I
way,
also saw the
Yeah.
cart barn roof had a first read.
it did.
Yeah, it was one on the appropriations order, you gotta go all the way down the bottom. I was happy.
That should have been with everything. It should have been with the sprinkler heads and the
I saw two things that you didn't mention, one was the equipment package,
yeah.
and the other one was the
That
cart
was
barn.
27.
Right. Okay. Maybe the meeting I was told about was the second read because that's when the questions would get asked. So
Yeah,
great. Then it's ahead of what I thought it was.
Good.
So the only last thing I wanted to touch on was that the credit card processing fees.
Yeah.
Everything went through unanimously. By the way, the 65,000, no problem, as we expected. It's only literally 3% of what we have in our reserves. However, there was a town councilor who made the comment, basically saying, well, if you're getting hit that hard by these fees, why not pass it on to the customer for memberships? If you're taking credit cards for, the annual passes, why not tack that fee on? And I want to I think that's a very common and substantial misunderstanding of how our budgeting works, in that we cannot spend revenue. And I try to explain this to a lot of people.
Yeah.
We could tack on a $10,000 fee.
Yeah.
It wouldn't help us one penny
Right.
in tackling those charges. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It would increase our revenue, sure, and then in turn increase our reserve fund.
You'd need an
But it would not
appropriation.
help us, well, right.
Right.
But adding, so anybody in the private sector, anybody with a common sense mind says, oh, your credit card fees are up, all right, well, you need to either charge more or, tack that convenience fee on. That will not help. That will do us nothing.
So when
Let
I
me-
buy a beach pass
Yeah.
on the town website,
Yeah.
I'm dealing with a third party, am I not?
Yes,
That's charging me a fee.
transfer
Right.
sticker, so.
I don't know, but I guess I have an account.
Yeah.
And recreation
The
is an enterprise fund just like us.
Yeah,
Okay, so why
So-
couldn't we do something like that where residents anyway
Mhm.
could via the town website re-up each year and have that go through that third party?
We could, that's a big undertaking. We have a lot of variables that beaches don't. We have a lot of age-related discounts. We have
Well,
student-related
It's not just the
discounts.
beaches though, I mean shellfish permits, isn't that the
Shellfish,
same?
yes.
Yeah,
Right.
they're, they're universal, I think is what
yeah,
Jeff's
Right.
it's the
saying.
same for.
Where
It's
we
one
have-
beach permit,
Oh, okay.
one
Right,
shellfish
we have
permit, one fish.
Transfer station, I think.
We
Yeah,
have,
they're all the same.
we
There's
sell
one permit.
things where you need to prove not only your age, but we need a student ID. We ask for we have a lot more levels of discounts that require proof of XYZ, you see what I'm saying? What do you need when you do a beach sticker, what do you need?
You have to
What do
upload your registration.
Your registration
okay,
for your
yeah.
car.
So that proves you're a taxpayer,
Yeah.
but then, now
It's
we
in a
need,
tax bill too, I think.
Nope, just registration.
No, there's two things.
No,
you
there's
need
two
here.
things, driver's license or tax bill.
No, not the tax bill, it's the transfer station and the beaches, you need to upload your
I mean,
registration.
Natural
it's been talked about,
resources.
we
Yeah.
can, maybe
Look into
this
it, maybe.
coming,
Well, I mean, if you can do it, it makes sense. We're dealing with the town on various
Yep.
issues, this
Yeah.
would just be another one. And I mentioned to you about non-residents having the ability to email or fax their
Mhm.
membership applications along with their credit card information.
if
Um,
if people were comfortable doing that, I think I said we'd have to set up some kind of like singular, annual
Yeah.
passes at Barnstable.
They're just
Golf,
making it
whatever.
convenient for people to do it,
Sure.
and that's,
Sure.
maybe you get more people to sign up.
Town
Do
will
we want
not,
that?
the town will not approve
Mark
you to
will want
allow
that.
credit card information in email.
That's true,
Yeah, we get
The
it.
PCI governance will not allow them to do it.
you shouldn't,
That's why it works on beach sticker, because they use a third party that hashtags
Right.
your credit card.
right.
But to
So-
send it in unencrypted email, they'll never do it.
So I have a question. You're doing well right now. If you end up with a big deficit, it's going to be for fiscal year '24.
Correct.
Does that, how can I say this? Would Mr. Milner be able to help you out to fill that hole with the reserves that?
That's what would happen. We would
That's
balance it
what
with
would
reserves,
happen.
absolutely.
Okay, because I'm thinking how smart that man is.
Sure.
To tell you last year when you had that really large reserve, yeah, something might happen. So you don't want to spend it all, right? You always have to make sure you can, absorb something awful. Well, something awful happens. So I just want to say I think that his wisdom there should be acknowledged.
And I've already submitted my revenue projections for FY24.
Yeah.
And they were tempered.
Yeah, I'm sure.
By this,
Yeah.
especially the merchandise at Hyannis. I think I might have taken a solid like $40,000 off of that. It was a six-figure number that I cut.
Yeah. A resident of the town approached me, knowing I'm on the golf committee, and said, I heard you had, and then he said the number that was in the reserve
Mhm.
that you gave us. Why don't they just take that for the sewering project? And so I did my best to explain,
It's not
enterprise.
taxpayer money.
No, right, where it comes from, that it's an enterprise account and so
Right.
forth.
By law, they can't take it.
No.
Correct. But I do want to acknowledge the wisdom of not just saying, oh yeah, we should spend all that money and
Well, I think it exists for two reasons: capital improvements and rainy days.
there was a rainy day.
And
It was a
Correct.
very cold,
So
rainy day.
this year, I'm confident we are going to make a substantial six-figure contribution.
Yep,
If our CIPs bring us down to about 1.5, which is
Yeah.
what it's going to be,
Yeah.
I'm confident we're going to put another $500,000 back in. So I
Yeah.
think this time next year we're still going to be at 2 million in our surplus.
and I think it's important for the general public,
Right.
you know, the people of Barnstable to know that.
Right.
That, you know, this is why
So
you do
if
this.
FY24 is a six-figure loser, I don't think it will be, but even if it is,
It's there.
Yeah.
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 I just thought it was important to bring that out
That would-
publicly.
it wouldn't hurt the operation. It would hinder future,
Yeah, future
Capital
capital
improvements.
projects.
Right.
Yeah,
but the operation would be fine.
yeah, it's not a structural deficit,
Not at all. No, we are financially as healthy as we've ever been.
exactly,
Ever.
yeah.
Um,
Try to keep it that way, eh?
yeah.
Okay, thanks, Jesse.
I think you're staying up at night worried about this stuff.
Well, I've
Yeah.
worried about a lot of stuff lately.
Yeah, I wish I had better answers.
1,200 gigawatts.
Yeah, 1,200 megawatts.
But I mean, yeah, the staffing is just as stressful as,
That's a big
as
problem.
any of this. Trying to find people.
Yeah,
I mean, you're probably going to see me behind the counter a lot. And I already apologized to my boss saying, hey, there's going to be days where I'm not answering your calls
yeah,
because I'm behind the counter. And he doesn't want me there. I don't want to be there, but
yeah.
I got it. You know, we all have to, and same with you, right? You
Most
shouldn't.
mornings, me and Chris are probably gonna be at.
He shouldn't be on a mower,
Eh.
but he will be. You know. Oh well.
Until hopefully we find somebody.
Right.
Chris did mention that he's trying to push the $20 thing through.
For this year, for now, right? Because then any change like that has to go through HR. The job description gets reviewed. It's a whole process.
Yeah.
Because of course it is. And we were worried that it wasn't going to be effective until FY24, but I think we might be able to get it like within the next few weeks
It'll probably help.
to try to, yeah.
It's a good number.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still, we're asking you to show up at 5 a.m. and go out in the heat, where they can go to Target and work in the AC for the same money. It's tough. You know, I know, excuses.
Yeah,
But-
this generation.
Oh, easy.
What? Toughen up, brother.
Okay,
Cubs.
any other questions of Jesse?
Can I go back to James?
Of course you can, George.
When you dragged to the fairways, at Old Barney here, some divots came up,
They did.
yeah. How do you repair that?
Little divot mix and
Planting or-
seed. Yeah. We're nearly there where we can start growing grass, so we'll start filling those in.
Oh, the new carts. Do they,
Oh.
are they going to have seed and sand, containers on them? No.
I just want cards.
Would you
I
get
just think
temporary
it would
ones?
be nice
Yeah.
to,
I should have, you know what, I totally spaced on that here, probably
Yeah.
because there's nothing to report. But I should have,
Okay.
I should have had that in here.
Yeah.
Nothing new to report, still waiting and hoping that it's
sometime this summer?
any week now.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, they brought us 44 in total, 40 regular golf carts, 3 maintenance, utility carts, and a range picker for nothing. You know,
Yeah,
not
that's
charging us
nice,
anything.
yeah.
We brought 15 carts from Hyannis over here.
Okay.
So each course is down about 20% of their
Ooh.
fleet from what they usually are at. Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. Both courses are at about 80% of their normal fleet size right now. We're getting away with it now.
Yeah,
Once
Not
we get
for
into
long.
May, we're not gonna get it. It's gonna be an issue.
not for long.
But hey,
We only have 2
We love
utility
issues.
carts and maintenance. There's the problem. Only 2.
yeah. So you've been out on the golf course in your truck. Yeah. Because it's the only way to get out there. Yeah. It's
Is that the Honda restaurant?
That's Chris's.
Oh, Chris.
Yeah.
yeah. So we have no carts, no staff, and no restaurant, but we're doing great. We will come from this.
And when Keith goes away,
We have
when
no
your
chairman.
rounds numbers
We
are,
have no- yeah.
the number of rounds are gonna go way down.
Keith, you golfed every day this winter, I think.
The carts are an issue.
Thank
but we're,
you,
know.
thank you. I take that as a compliment.
Yeah, you were kind of amazing,
I
to tell
take
you
that
the
as a
truth.
compliment. There's no such thing as bad weather, there's only bad clothing.
I thought you were gonna say it's bad golf.
Yeah.
Tell that to the guys at the Masters.
Oh, that was a terrible letter.
All right,
Well-
do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
And a second?
I'll second. Oh, go
Okay,
ahead.
Jason,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Suzanne,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Keith, I, and Bill.
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
very good.